Okay guys, you're gonna have to excuse the shaking because I don't know why, but I'm shaking today for some reason. We took this boat out last Friday and we beat the crap out of this boat. We run from Texas City Dike, the beginning of the Texas City Dike, all the way to Pelican Island, which is in Galveston, the Galveston Harbor over there by the ferry. And we had 1.5 2 foot seas, and I had this thing packed down with people, and we literally beat the crap out of this boat. And it ran really good, man. Didn't have any problems with it at all. There were some things I'm changing on the boat now. I'm gonna take the dash back off of this boat. It looks horrible. I'm gonna redo something with that, figure out something else that looks better, because I just did a terrible job on the way it looks. So I'm gonna take all that crap back off of there. As you can see, this hole right here in my boat, okay? I did not do that. I did do that. I mean, this is me doing a repair, but this is a previous accident, I guess, where somebody ran into the dock or something and busted the boat right here, and they didn't repair it properly. So whenever I put the gel coat on this boat, I didn't see it. You know, I didn't see it from the outside. I mean, there was no cracks in this boat or anything. So, you know, I just put the gel coat over the top of it, put the epoxy primer on it, and, you know, put the enamel on it, the hardened enamel, and called it good. But this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to take this boat out. This is the first time it's ever been out in the ocean. Not really the ocean, but the bay. I wouldn't take this thing in the ocean, but we really beat the crap out of this boat. We did, and that's what I wanted to do. And this is the result. You find stuff like this. It's a previous repair that someone did, and just the stresses of this boat crashing into them waves, just bam, bam, just constantly for 2 hours. You know, this crack appeared right here. And there was a crack down here that ran down here, and you can see where I've kind of ground into the crack right here. There's an access panel right here that makes this thing really easy to get to. So as you can see, I've drilled holes in this thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this long strand fiberglass reinforced body filler on the inside. What I'll do is I'll take some tape and I'll tape this from the outside. As you can see, I've ground it down to about 1.5 millimeters on the outside here. I didn't grind it down any on the inside. I did sand it down good and cleaned it good so I can apply the body filler. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'll tape this all off, then I'll go from the inside and I'll push that kitty hair through these holes. Okay, this is the way I was taught to repair fiberglass. A lot of people might disagree with me, but this is the way I was taught to do it. So I'll push the kitty hair through these holes and fill this from the inside, and then I'll come back on the outside and I'll put matte fiberglass here. I'll cut a piece of fiberglass mat and to fit this, and then I will put matting over the top of this, and then I'll fill it back in and sand it down and repaint it. So that's what I'm going to have to do here. It's really no big deal, but you know, it has to be done. And this is the only place on the whole boat where I had this problem. Okay, there's no other cracks appeared anywhere on this boat. Any of the work that I did held up just fine, and that's it. I took the carpet out of this boat. I don't like having carpet in here. It's a pain in the ass to clean. It gets wet. It stays wet all day. You know, if you want to walk around in your socks or whatever, or, you know, we have boat shoes, but I mean, it just stays wet all day because the waves crashing over, and, you know, you just, you wouldn't think waves would crash over. You know, this boat looks pretty big, but it's only 17.5 foot. And you get 2 foot waves, 2.5 foot waves that that you can't get on top of, then yeah, you're gonna have water coming over a little bit, just a spray. You know, it's not crashing over the sides, filling your boat up with water, but it's enough to make your carpet wet and all that. So I've decided to pull the carpet out of this thing, throw it away, and I'm going to use gel coat. I'm going to have a gel coat floorboard in this boat, and call it good enough. Again, this is going to be a repair that's going to make this area of the boat stronger than any of the rest of the boat. So it won't be making this cracks or any of that crap any longer in the boat. But so this thing is turning out to be a money pit, just like everybody who owns a boat realizes. Once you have a boat, you never stop putting money into it. But you know, I don't have that much money into this boat. I got about $2,500 in it right now, and you know, I'm fairly confident that I can get that money back out of this boat. I don't plan on putting any more money into this boat. The engine runs like a top, man. It's just from this point on, it's maintenance work. And you know, yeah, taking the dash out of this, I spent probably, I don't know, $50, $60 on material to do the dash, but it's ugly as hell, and I got to figure out something else for that. But so that's really all I got going on right now. I'm just staying busy with this thing, and again, this thing ran great, man. It handled the 1.5 to 2 foot waves really well. I mean, it really did. And if I could get in the rhythm, you know, then I could not beat the hell out of this boat, and that's what I was trying to do, trying to rock sideways on the waves coming in, and you know, as best you can. But it does handle the bay really well, but it will beat the hell out of you if you're not careful. So that's all I got, guys. This thing ran like a top, and I didn't have any problem with the engine whatsoever. It does need to have some adjustments made on it. As far as the idle goes, I need to do a little bit of adjusting on the idle. It does tend to want to stall when you got just idling. Sometimes it'll want to stall and die out, but it starts right again. And it's just I don't know, it's just a continuing something to keep me busy, I guess. But I'm excited about having a boat. This is my first boat, and being that I built it from the ground up, I know everything about this boat. And it doesn't scare me to put it in the water, because when I put it in the water, I know that I've done everything that I can do to make sure it's safe to go in the water. And if something does happen to it, I know what to do to you know, to diagnose what's going on. So all right, guys, that's all I got. Sorry to put this bug in your ear, but I ain't got nothing else to do, so I might as well make a YouTube video. All right, we'll holler at you guys later. Peace, and I'm out of here. Okay, guys, so I wanted to show you how this fiberglass job is coming along here. As you can see here, you can see the holes have filled in from the inside out. Okay, it's important that you understand when you're doing this kind of work that the argument against drilling holes in fiberglass is that you don't get the holes filled in properly. Okay, so if you're doing fiberglass work and you're going to drill holes to strengthen your adhesion, then it's important that you make sure that that fiberglass penetrates all the way through them holes. You don't want any air bubbles or any of that crap in them holes, okay? Because that's going to weaken your bond. So I still have like 1.5 millimeters where I've gone through the gel coat here down to the actual fiberglass on the boat. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to cut a piece of mesh, fiberglass mesh, to fit this hole perfectly. Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit on each end, maybe a couple of millimeters on each end to fill in, so you won't be able to see this repair that I did here. But what I'll do is I'll come and I'll mix my epoxy resin, fiberglass epoxy, and I'll put a coat on this, right? So I'll put a real thin coat on this, and I'll wait for that to start to stick. It'll start to getting tacky. When that starts getting tacky, then I'll already have my mesh cut to fit this. I'll apply the epoxy to the mesh and then put that mesh on here, and it'll adhere really well to that repair, and you'll never be able to see it. You know, I'm obviously going to have to put reapply gel coat on here, because the gel coat's gone now. I can't repair gel coat if it's gone. So I'll have to reapply some gel coat there, and you know, the bond is permanent. It obviously doesn't look like this on the inside, guys. I did not sand it on the inside. There's no reason to. No one's going to see it, and it's really difficult to get in there. But it turned out really well, and so far I don't see any reason for it not to finish strong. So that's where I'm at right now. Also, I'm doing some stuff in the transom. I noticed that where the engine bolts to the transom on this thing, the blocks that they put on the bolts that hold the engine in place are kind of sinking into the transom a little bit, and I'm not exactly sure. The transom's strong. I mean, there's no rot in it anywhere, but I don't know why they did that. It's like they cut a little piece of the transom, like the fiberglass, out, and then put that piece of metal in there and then bolted the engine, you know, put the bolt through the transom and put the engine in place. I mean, it's really strange the way they did that, but I bought a piece of, I think it's 5/16 bar, flat bar, that's going to go all the way across the bottom of that transom, at least about 3 inches further on each side of the bolt, where the bolts go through the transom to hold the engine in place. And I'm going to use that piece of bar that goes all the way across. I mean, it's not loose, it's not leaking, it's not, you know, there's no problem. It's just, I don't know why the hell they did that. That was really not very bright. But I'm going to fix it the way that I want to fix it. And it might be because those bolts, the bolts they had, probably wouldn't be long enough to do what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to have to replace the bolts, but that's okay. It's 2 stainless steel bolts, I think maybe 8 inches or something, 6 inches, 8 inches, whatever. And then that will be repaired, and then I will gel coat the floorboard of this boat, and it'll be ready for water once again. So this took me about I don't know, 3 hours to get to this point. I think I'm going to call it a day. I don't want to overdo it, you know, but this is where we're at right here. This little repair. I mean, people would probably be astounded if they had this happen to their boat. You know, it'd probably be just totally freaked out or whatever, see a giant hole in your boat. It's not really giant. I mean, it's what, here's my hand. So I have pretty good sized hands, but it's probably what, 8 inches across there. So that's you know, it just is what it is. And I guess that's all I got for now, guys. I'm gonna call this a day. And you know, again, the argument for not drilling holes in fiberglass is that you don't fill the holes with the fiberglass, and it causes air pockets in the adhesion between your repair and the actual old fiberglass. So be sure, if you're going to do that method, to make sure that you don't have any air pockets in that in your fiberglass going through them holes. Very, very important, guys. Okay, that's all I got. Peace, and I'm out.